in order for us to be fully human, surely we need to be the masters of human sound. Now, as time has gone by, we've become the masters of the sounds that humans make to communicate. But before this time, there were the sounds of humanity. Now, one of these ancestral sounds was laughter. Another was crying. And then there was sighing. Various kinds of signals to indicate our emotional state. That when language formed, we codified sound. And so we used the pitch da 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 da. Asking a question, disappointed, yeah. We can indicate certain things with just the rising and falling pitch. Now, the next musical system was vowels. Now, we just use vowels as part of language, but they are a musical component. So we combine these two sounds as a coding system for the syllables. But there's also another system that's working behind the scenes, and that has to do with the character of the timbre of the voice. So if you lower our larynx, it sounds more like this. But if we raise our larynx, it sounds more like this. And if we create a strange shape in the back of our mouths, it sounds like that. So we began to communicate at a very high level. Like the faster and more accurate we can communicate, the better. But in this time, we left behind our foundation. And that was as musical creatures who appreciated music, who understood the music they were generating, understood the music others were generating, were able to combine together to form choirs of harmonies. This was our form of entertainment around those campfires, in those caves, in those lean-tos. And one of the things that overtone singers can do is combine the throat sound with the pronunciation of vowel sound with the combining all three sounds. Now through that we can generate sounds of 110, 120 decibels. So we can produce sounds that could be heard 5, 10 kilometers away. That's one of the reasons why we developed musicality, was long distance communication. But now in our time, we don't master voice. And that is very strange because it means we're not fully human. It's like we have been crippled or blinded or deafened. There is some aspect of what it is that we've always been as humans that is suddenly missing. And because it's missing from all of us, it doesn't seem to be such a problem. We forget about it. It's just the way it is. This is what life is. And there have been a few cultures around the world who have either maintained that original overtone singing technique, or more likely, they have rediscovered it and incorporated it into their mode, the way they express themselves culturally. But this concept of perfection of human sound, if we all did this, if we all mastered our voices, then amongst us would emerge the geniuses, the ones who can lead the way into a cultural revolution that is determined by our natural ability, our propensity, our capacity to produce human music that is not necessarily language. But when it does need to be language, we can apply all of the systems of embellishment that are possible to make the language part work. So I present you with a challenge. If you believe that you are a human, you must exhibit the traits of humanity. Civilization is something we've invented in these more recent millennia. But our nature is bound to what it is that we are as beings, moving through long terms and cycles of time and space. At this ultimate source of what we are immortal. What lives inside each of our cells, all 36 trillion of them, come from a source that has never died. It began 3.7 billion years ago in our own lineage, and also in the lineage of mitochondria, who later on formed a symbiotic relationship with our ancestors to become the eukaryotes that then had the energy and the ability to develop into multicellular, spectacular. So we can take on a simple idea about who and what we are, our place in the cosmos. Or we could learn enough to know exactly what caused us to be and what effect that we have on creating the future. Now, there is no life after death in the specific terms of this life, this death, and some future life and death. But if we understand what it is we've come from, we will see that we are life after death of our ancestors. And so if we are successful in our long-term project as humanity, then in the future there will be people who will be our life after death. And they will live in a hell of a planet that's cascading and falling into the abyss of extinction, all they'll be raising up from the triumph of discovery and truth and integration of that into the mind that understands all. The new enlightenment. The first enlightenment was when we realized that we could understand the world rather than rely on the mythology of religion and all of the other ways of understanding reality. And we realized that we could measure, we quantify, we could extend our senses into telescopes and microscopes and spectroscopes. We could understand the fossils through evolution and ourselves through some recognition of the eternal processes that cause cells to continue from the molecules and atoms they are formed from, and the genetics that continue because they are able to sustain the great multicellular 36 trillion cell beings that ponder and move into that future that begins and continues to unfold. So this is the big answer. What it is that we are supposed to do as humans, as the ones who will survive and then look back on the history of what made them what they became. It is the rise of the individual who says, I need to be a human. I need to move away from this concept of domestication, of being a creature forced into the conformity of absurdity. So this is a major selection event within our species. There are those who believe that they should hold on to the ancient ideas of what we are forever. And there are those who recognize the traps of psychology and realize that they should be the ones who contribute to the opening up of all humanity to another age of enlightenment, where everyone knows everything required to understand what we are as consciousness within cosmos. So thank you for watching and listening. Look at my other YouTubes to understand the nature of overtone singing and the philosophies of understanding the numbers and understanding the nature of what it is that we are within cosmos. Share, subscribe, and do all the things that makes us survive. Thank you. I'm Pete the Polymath.